it's upsetting. It's upsetting because the harder things get, the more disappointed I become in those who blindly defend the indefensible. Those who go around defending the mistakes that led us here instead of owning up to them. There was some foot soldier or the other posting on social media yesterday a video from the House of Commons in England. The new Prime Minister responding to a question from the opposition. And in his response, he said that the cause of UK's problems are external. The causes are external. And pointed to COVID and Ukraine. So this foot soldier is posting this video and saying that the British Prime Minister is speaking for us. Completely forgetting the obvious facts that the British Prime Minister, if he says that the problems are caused by external factors, you can give him benefit of the doubt because he runs a country that works.
Exactly. I mean, he runs a country that works, and in our part of the world, a lot of them we've consistently blamed factors that we probably do not even understand. We've said a lot of things. We started with COVID, and then when our economy was doing well, we said we're a success story. And this is a clear indication that we can actually transform the economy. So we're singing praises and all of that, this is, the fact that the president, as he promised, can do it. Then in 2022, a little bit of a problem. We say, Russia, Ukraine. But you see, the AFDB has a report in June 2020 said, look, the state of the Ghanaian economy, the Russian invasion of Ukraine will test our resilience as an economy. And the evidence is what we have seen. Anyway, let's get into our Drive Safe campaign, right?
Yes, and it's brought to us. Well, first of all, let's be grateful for our inspirational song. It was brought to us by Class, where Class goes, water flows, and Republic Bank.
Our Drive Safe campaign, brought to us by Joe News and Multimedia Group, is supported by Toyota Ghana Company Limited, Toyota Superior Quality, and Imperial General Assurance, solid protection. So, listen, times are hard. We're all feeling it, and fuel has become very expensive. Please concentrate on your speedometer, not your fuel gauge, to arrive safe.
All right, let's learn how to say it right. Brought to us by Kingdom Books. At Kingdom, quality and affordability are their hallmarks.
Something must be done.
You say either, I say.
Let's continue our crusade against redundant phrases. I have quite the specimen for you today. Sum total. Think about it. Why add the word sum to the word total when they both have the same meaning? The Collins Dictionary defines a sum as the whole number or amount when two or more numbers or amounts have been added together. The same dictionary defines total as the amount you get when several smaller amounts are added together. Indeed, the sum is the total. No need to say them together in the same phrase. Not if you're saying it right. And there we go. That's how to say it right. Okay then, just before we get into the news review, brought to us by Enterprise Life's Family Income Security Plan, Enterprise Your Advantage, Access Bank, More Than Banking, and CompuGhana, Passion for Technology. Actually, let's go straight into the papers. What's in there?
Let me start with the Guardian Times, and it's reporting this morning demand for termination of appointment of new Director General of the GES. Tertiary teachers abandon classrooms nationwide, and that's perhaps one of the biggest stories from yesterday, where the GES finally issued a statement saying that they are shocked to have realized that people have abandoned their classroom. I mean, I'm sure everybody, maybe they were not officially informed, but people have said consistently that if you do not do this, they would actually lay down their tools. I think it's a very important issue. See, this is the first time in my adult life that I'm hearing that teacher groups unified are saying the gentleman you gave us as Director General of all the human beings on this in this country, if you don't want to Poko Amankwa, replace him with somebody of his kind. He's yet to step in the office and even do the work, but they are convinced he's a misfit for the job. I am worried about how we can scrape the bottom of the barrel for such an appointment to happen for these teacher groups to actually fight it in the first place of all the problems on the education front. But deep within my heart, I cannot see why we are still having a conversation where teachers are not in the classroom and the people who really suffer most are the young people, the small people, and mostly this will largely happen in public schools. So it will be the poor child who attends the public schools at these pre-tertiary level.
So Ray,
I mean, when I separate the secondary schools, but mostly it's the what they call it, lower primary, upper primary. Those ones are those maybe that direction. So Mamavi's child who's in the proper provident school compared to the child who's also preparing for the same BC, what is likely to fail because they don't have enough tuition time, they don't have enough contact hours, mainly because we decided of all the people available to us to choose this man.
You know, my concern is the
Who is
statements that was issued. It didn't give a clear direction as to whether or not parents should still take their children to school today.
They say when
Because
when the kids appear in the class, you monitor them.
the directors on the ground
Yeah.
should take care of it. But do you still spend money taking your child to school today, knowing that teachers won't show up?
Look, I think sometimes we make a certain mistake. We blame a lot of things on the Constitution. The president has all these powers to appoint whomever into whichever position. And we claim that it's because the Constitution allows him. But look, if today you make it legal for a man to beat his wife, the men who beat their wives, this is still a commentary of their character. Not a commentary, it's not the fault of the law, right? Because not every man will beat his wife. So you must still ask questions about why our presidents consistently choose to take advantage of that provision instead of making it merit-based. Is there really any advantage to the nation of appointing to positions of such technical importance on the basis of whatever the basis must have been in this case, rather than merit?
Well, you see, yes, the teachers have expressed their concerns. They've talked about how they believe the Dr. Nkansa isn't qualified to be Director General of the Ghana Education Service. They've talked about how they believe that as one who read banking, who's read finance, he has a PhD in finance, he should go work with the Bank of Ghana and all of that. But the question really is, today, must children suffer because teachers say they do not like the new Director General of the Ghana Education Service? Must my ward miss class hours in these times just because teachers say they do not like the person who has been appointed as Director General of Education? I say no. And so, yes, you may have your concerns, but today, we shouldn't go through what we're going through because of these concerns. I have always insisted that even when it comes to teachers going on strike, I do not support the fact that the young student who's done no wrong cannot have a teacher because of these challenges. No. Anyway.
Yeah, well,
Why can't the education ministry just fix this? Because yesterday's meeting ended inconclusively. Why can't this be resolved?
Yes, because
Are we still here?
somebody's interests must prevail. Somebody's interest must prevail. Again, you are so right, Winston. But then again, if they had appointed him based on merit, no teacher could have gone to stand somewhere and say, I don't like him, so remove him.
Well, let's do the Daily Graphic newspaper on the front page. Are you done?
There's
Sorry.
one more that
Oh,
if
please do.
You know, ordinarily I will not interrupt when it is coming from you. But Latif assault case yet to commence after 5 years. So Abigolano writes that nearly 5 years after multimedia journalist Latif Idrisu was allegedly assaulted by policemen, leaving him with a severely fractured skull, hearing on the case is yet to officially begin. And you remember that case, right? You know, the Kojo was arrested and whatever happened on the ground, he went there to report and he was attacked brutally.
Let's add that this was the headquarters of the police.
Yes, just in front of it. And all the stories around it, sometimes very preposterous stories about what the police can find or cannot find, the people the police can trace or cannot trace. As we speak today, the case is not started in court.
Who has been charged? Has anyone been charged?
No.
So then there can't even be a case. The police say they don't know who they posted to that place that day. The police. The organization that deploys men and women. They don't know who they deployed that day. What a disgrace.
Well, let's pay attention to the Daily Graphic newspaper. And this issue will get you frustrated if you're driving on the Tema motorway right now. Motorway deteriorates, patched portions rots away. So photographs of portions of the motorway showing deep cracks and exposed iron rods. Picture by Samuel Tay Adano. We keep talking about this issue. We got beautiful promises, but the Tema motorway is still the same Tema motorway with all the cracks. Oh.
The 10-lane, no one is coming.
Well, be moderate in expenditure.
It was supposed to have started in September this year.
Yeah.
And I'm sure I used the motorway, was it last week or two? I didn't see any work on it.
Oh, 10 lanes.
There's no work on it.
5 lanes.
No work on
Not
it.
the first part.
Raymond, we're
Phase
still
one,
talking
no.
about the cracks.
No
You're
work
talking
on it.
about lanes.
No, because
we were promised initially that it would start in December last year.
Yeah.
I think it was Kojo
Kojo
Frimpong
Frimpong,
who
yeah.
said it on our show.
Look.
That didn't happen. Then several pushed deadlines later, it was definitely going to start in September.
I heard the minister himself on Asempa FM
Yes.
that was going to start very, very soon.
Yeah.
And I was so convinced that since the minister is now saying it and there was a spokesperson for the ministry or somebody connected to it, it really was going to start. But, well,
Sana,
no, I mean,
I'm waiting for the president to finally say it.
That road is a death trap.
It is.
Yeah, but
Look, if you don't know the motorway and you're driving on the motorway believing that is as good as it used to be, you may end up getting involved in an accident. It is so bad, and I just cannot understand why we're not paying attention to it.
So you see, now it's getting to the point where, look, you are being buffeted in all directions. You want to save money, so you bought yourself some Uber-sized car to travel from Tema to Accra to work every day. Suddenly, it costs you about 1,000 cedis to fill your tank. And as if that is not enough, you are going to destroy your shock absorbers in maybe 1/3 of the time that they are supposed to last. If that is if you don't get an accident on the motorway, right? So essentially,
you never went.
Well, the moderators of the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church of Ghana, the Right Reverend Professor Joseph Obri Yeboah Mante, says that, listen, even if we have to reduce the number of our ministers, we should. This is his proposal as he calls for moderation in expenditure. And then also this one, Regional Minister backtracks on Ramsar site demolitions. He had said before, this is the Greater Accra Regional Minister, he said, I want to say here now that not a single completed building will be demolished. But what has he done? Just gone back on his words.
So who's been influencing the minister to suspend this patriotic action? Who's pushed him to stop this?
Good question.
Who are the true owners of the Ramsar site?
So, you mean that, listen, if the minister can get people out of Agbogbloshie, he should be able to deal with this matter nicely.
Yes.
No long talk about who is behind. No, we don't accept it. The people of Agbogbloshie are also human beings. They're also Ghanaians. They're also part of the state. They voted in an election. They moved and they obey the laws of this state. Clearly, we should get this happening without talking about who is influencing, who can influence. For influence can come from different quarters. But nobody should be telling us stories about influence anyway.
But what is the reality here?
Yeah. No, I'm saying that nobody should tell us stories about influence because in Aboloshi's case, we didn't hear stories about influence.
So
they are all Ghanaians. We are all human beings. We are all in the same state. Nobody should create the impression that they have an extraordinary stake in this country. So some are second-class citizens. So when it comes to others, they all can apply properly.
It means
The
now
difference between a proper state and a banana republic is one where the laws work and are applied faithfully to everybody.
it means now we are not even hiding it anymore.
Yeah,
Now,
can
leaders
you
are
believe
not
that?
even hiding the fact that what they are doing is basically nepotism and corruption. They are not hiding it anymore. Of all the ministers.
Yeah.
Of all the ministers. Oh.
Anyway, Henry Korte, please. This is no excuse.
Yeah,
Go ahead. Ghanaians say they are supporting you. They supported you in moving, the traders away from Agbogbloshie. And we are
clearing the
supporting
streets
you.
of Accra.
We're supporting you to do
Yes.
this one too.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead and do your work.
It's a Ramsar site,
Yeah.
for the love of God.
The chronicle for today, Isaiah chapter 10, verse 1. Woe to those who make unjust laws, to those who issue oppressive decrees. Hey, Isaiah. The injustice in IMF's $650 billion bailout. Ghana receives only $1.04 billion, says ISODEC analyst. And he's been talking about how the IMF, released some $650 billion in special drawing rights in 2021. And out of that, Africa, which has some of the world's poorest countries, had just about 5% of that. Also on the front page, Akufo-Addo, Ghana is targeting renewable energy, and gunmen had wanted to assassinate Anwin Manhin. That's according to the secretary.
Now, the final paper I have is the Daily Guide. Renewable energy is priority. That's the president speaking there. And NDC members endorse Dufour for flag bearer. That's the story on the front page too. Opuni targets trial judge again. And there is one last issue about PIAC fires MPs over GSF capping. Those are the stories the Daily Guide reported this morning.
The Graphic Business is reporting ahead of the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast meeting. Use ruthless approach to stabilize economy. That's from a former IMF advisor, and reminds me of our conversation yesterday, the pre-budget conversation hosted by Benjamin and Wednesday. I hear businesses saying we don't expect new taxes. And the e-levy must go. Apparently it's hurting small businesses, but some are also calling for it to come down less than 1%.
One of the suggestions I have heard is that they may bring down the percentage, but remove a lot of the exclusions. So some of the transactions that are exempt will become, they would no longer be exempt. And then, the rate might come down.
Those exemptions that are not properly working.
And the Graphic Business Stanbic Bank breakfast.
Yes, take notes.
Themed 17 times too many. What should we stop doing and start doing as a people? Yours truly, I'll be there to moderate the conversation.
That's right. Moderator one.
Oh.
But we know that ahead of that, there's something also happening today. That's the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. This is managing IMF's expectation and Ghana's economy the way forward.
So you hear a lot of IMF stuff happening in this country today. I mean,
people have realized they need to help our leaders.
But do we even know what we are negotiating on? Do we know the content of what we are negotiating on today?
Well, but final paper here, the finder says CD fall, rising cost, collapsing newspapers, over 600% price increase of some inputs since January 2022.
All right, the online review now brought to you by Zenith Bank in your best interest, Goil Good Energy and Achieve app. Visit your app store or Play Store and search Achieve to download and install now. Think investment, think Achieve.
And your oil marketing company of choice, Goil, keeps making life ever so convenient. Goil now accepts Momo for all fuel purchases. So just remember to Momo it at Goil. You can use your bank card or bank cards to buy fuel at Goil. So drive to the nearest Goil station now. Buy your fuel, pay by Momo, bank card or Goil Go card. Goil Good Energy. Goil, yeah, dim.
And myjoyonline.com says strike by pre-tertiary teacher unions entirely preventable. That's according to Dr. Clementa Park, and government is cheated us for far too long. That's the Colleges of Education Teachers Association of Ghana and Bulldog Sues Shatawale, all on myjoyonline.com. Time now for the BBC News, brought to us by Fidelity Bank, Believe With Us, and Silver Star Auto, your trusted partner.
Why go through the hassle of going to the bank to fill out long forms